My speech is on the Sistine Chapel and the ceiling that Michelangelo painted. Back in the 15th century, Michelangelo was commissioned by Pope Julius II to paint the 12 apostles in the Sistine Chapel. Once Michelangelo started painting, he kind of got a little carried away and decided that instead of doing it on the 12 apostles, he would base it on the book of Genesis. The amount of space that he was painting on was 45 by 128 square feet of arched ceiling, by the way. The first picture that he painted was the deluge. What it shows here is the flooding of the earth. You see the ark here. There's also a little dove up in the window that not a lot of people see, and it shows that it's the sign of hope. The second picture is the sacrifice of Noah. This depicts his family when they arrived back on land after the flood, and they sacrificed an animal to show their appreciation for arriving safely. The third picture is the drunkenness of Noah. After they arrived on land, he planted a vineyard and got a little carried away drinking the wine that came from it. These are his sons covering him up. The interesting thing about this picture is that a lot of people, for some reasons, refer to this as a picture saying that it was okay for the beginning of slavery. I really didn't see an explanation on that, but the two coincide somehow. The creation of Adam is the most familiar picture. It happens to be one of my favorites. It depicts God touching the hand of Adam, and Adam lying on the earth that he was created from. Right here, this little section right here, their two fingers touching. I happen to have a big picture of it blown up, but very interesting, and you see a lot of detail behind everything. The creation of Eve is the next picture. He didn't seem to go into a whole lot of depth with this one. We have the temptation of Adam and Eve. In the background you see the tree of knowledge, the serpent, and this picture actually shows Adam reaching for the apple instead of Eve bringing it to him. And then on the other side of the picture, it shows Adam and Eve both aged and sick after they ate the apple. The next picture is the separation of earth from water, followed by the creation of the planets, the sun and the moon, and then the separation of light from darkness. Now, if you're familiar with the book of Genesis, you may have noticed that these pictures kind of go backwards from how you would read them in the book. That's because the way that you enter into the church and you see them on the ceiling is actually not the way that Michelangelo had intended for it to be viewed. While Michelangelo was painting these pictures, he did have some assistants that would help him mix paint and things like that, but he was very particular about his work. The most that they painted on the ceiling was maybe a patch of sky, but he also hired and fired assistants constantly, so nobody but Michelangelo can take credit for actually doing work. So in conclusion, the Sistine Chapel was painted by Michelangelo in the 15th century. It happens to be one of the most popular works of art, still on display, and it tells a great story. And thank you for your time.